a bit before I came in here, I spoke to my friend. I said I'm going to the XP Summit, and he searched in Google for XP Summit 2022, and he came across this, which is basically explore diverse and challenging role executive pastors play in church. And he thought I'm an evangelist, but I'm an evangelist of a different type. So, anyways, as an evangelist, I actually work with a lot of game developers, game studios, and this is basically what I do day-to-day basis. And from those experiences and from my own experience from the journey of as a game developer, I'm going to be speaking about the challenges that game developers and game studios have in regards to offering positive gaming experience and what happens if you don't offer positive gaming experience. So a bit about me before I actually continue on with the topic. So I'm actually been in this industry for about like 17 plus years. And I've seen almost a wave of change, like in the pipelines and the production processes and the game development. Primarily, I'm a C# programmer, but before coming into C#, I had vast experience in C++, and C as well. And as a game developer, like I had that the full stack experience. In addition to just developing in terms of programming for the games, I also worked on a lot of 3D modeling software like 3D Max, Maya, even motion capture in ZBrush and Motion Builder, where you could actually capture motion and apply animation onto rigged characters. So, anyways, all of that combined together, I'm able to speak from my experience and how we can actually offer the positive gaming experience as we need to know. So, if I were to actually take a look at my entire journey, so I started programming like pretty young. So like in around early 90s, I used to start off with a very simple programming language called Logo. And then I moved on to Quick Basic, which was like an introduction into programming. And early 2000s, I got introduced to like the click theme-based multimedia fusion. So it was like point and click, drag and drop kind of programming. And ultimately, I went into C and C++. And then in mid 2000s, I got introduced to an open source 3D engine. It was called like Airlish engine. And then from there, I moved on to C#. A bit of renderware. It was an engine by Electronic Arts, by the way. And then I moved on to Unity. So right from Unity 2.x and up until now, that's actually my forte. So I've been working on Unity for the last like 14 years or so. In addition to that, I've like done other game engines as well, like Unreal and other programming languages. So as we actually speak about today's topic, that one bug in any game that you play. So how many times you have found a game that you thought it would be really exciting to play, only to encounter an annoying bug that would stop the gameplay, or perhaps the game works fine in the beginning, but then as you keep playing, it slows down, or perhaps even worse, the game crashes. At a critical point, like maybe you're just about to win a level and the game crashes. And this is basically what happens, and I actually our team put together a video that is made to show some extreme reactions gamers could have. Again, as a disclaimer, I would not want anyone to do that or break anything, but this is just a lighthearted attempt at showing how like the frustration of gamers and how they feel. So let's take a look. So this is basically multiple disappointments and one common problem. The one common problem is errors in games. And this is exactly what we are trying to address today, addressing failure, and then we ensure success by recovering from the failure. So, a lot of times when you actually download a game or look online, like on an app store, on a play store, you would see these kinds of reviews as well. So maybe a game has like a lot of glitch. You have like 1-star rating, 2-star rating, 2.6, and you get all sorts of like comments, including I'm going to uninstall the app, and this basically you tend to see a lot if the game is not well made, or even in general, like if an app is not well made, or maybe app is well made but the developers didn't focus enough on capturing those errors and crashes and application not responding issues, so which in turn leads to losing customers. So what the data tells us in regards to negative gaming experience is 29% people experience app issues weekly, and about 80% indicated they will attempt to use a problematic app less than 3 times. So that means if they encounter problems like 2 or 3 times, and after that they are done with that app, done with that game, that's it. So they're going to no longer try. Maybe they will uninstall it as well. So, and this was a survey sponsored by HP. So it gives us insights into like how users feel about user experience. And in general, this was about like apps, but we can apply the same thing on games as well. And the issues are like very relatable because it's universal. So the other thing that they've actually found out was like about 53% experienced severe issues over a 6-month period. And one of the questions that they asked in the survey, which of the following are reasons you have stopped using an app? And they gave a list of reasons. And out of that, the top reason that they got was the app crashes or stopped responding, 46% of people. And the second topmost reason was errors occur when using the app, and that's like about 35%. So these are the top 2 reasons, and they're simple enough to make people stop using your app, stop using your game. And then the next question, the users were asked like what they did when they experienced an app that either crashed, stopped responding, or had errors. So what did they do like when they encountered such an app? So what people said was interesting. Like they had like a bunch of responses. The topmost response was they uninstalled or removed the app. So 53% of the people did that. And the second most being stop using the app. So they simply stop using the app. That's it. So, and the third one was, of course, like some people will check for app update, but what's more relevant is that they looked for an alternative app. So like about 28%, they looked for alternative app. Now imagine all those marketing dollars the company spent in acquiring customer. And with all these issues going undetected, you're simply losing them. So I mean, all of the money that you spent on acquiring the customers, now you're losing the customers, so therefore you're losing money. So if you look at the other, the answers, all of them they gave. So there's 2 more thing on the bottom. So gave negative star ratings is like about 8%, and wrote a bad review 7%. So these are going to be significant enough because a lot of times if the game is working well, the app is working well, people are not going to come and give you like positive responses that much, but those minority of those who face issues, they are going to be more vocal and they are going to actually post negative reviews, and then that is going to actually affect how others perceive your app, so or your game. So, and as we can see here, this is another statistic from one of our partner companies. Like they used AI to determine the top gaming related issue reported by players from like 300 top companies that they worked with. So over a course of like about 90 days or something. So the number 1 player issue that they actually identified was involving errors, crashes, and ANR. So when I say ANR, it means application not responding. So maybe it got frozen, it's in a frozen state. So that's basically what it means. So it's like about 1/3 of the people, and those 1/3 of the players had issues, and probably they abandoned the gameplay, and because of errors and crashes, maybe they even like uninstall or stop playing that game altogether. So therefore, negative experience lowers brand value. Now this is actually, I'm going to prove how, again using a survey right here. So the same survey that HP sponsored, they asked a question: have any of these issues caused you to have a lower opinion of the company that created the app? So the number one response was frequent crashes or freezes. So that's like 37%. So again, there is like lower user reviews in the bottom, like about 17%, but we'll deal with that a bit later. But I can't stop stressing the fact that no matter how much we spend on marketing the game, it all comes down to nothing if the basic grievances are not answered. And the number one on this list, you saw there, frequent crashes and or freezes. So essentially that. And the errors. So when you see the crashes, freezes, and the errors. So, I mean, I can, even from my own experience, so I can actually tell you, like, there's like countless examples of games that have received bad reviews or bad ratings due to them being buggy. They have like lots of bugs. In some cases, they launch with no known issues at first. Like at the beginning, it's all fine. But as the gamers continue playing, like progressing in the game, they reach like upper levels, they complete a level or something, or they go up to upper level, and then they encounter bugs and they become frustrated. So in the case of one 3D game, I remember like one of the games where it worked like all fine for like a few hours, but after playing like a few hours, I can't take the name here, but after playing like for a few hours, the game would start slowing down, and ultimately the frame rate drops, and it becomes like really frustrating to continue playing. So likewise, in one of the other games, like it was a city builder game, so I played in the past, so it was fun to play, but until I encountered issues. So the game would become very slow as you keep expanding the city, right? So as you keep building the city, and when you fear that you're going to lose the game, the progress of the game, and you try to save it, it freezes right at that point. So the only way to get out of that is to end task, literally. So this basically, these are the issues that like we face like in games, and this is not really a cool thing in terms of experiencing as a gamer in a game. So if I were to summarize from all of the data that I actually shown right here, so there's like 3 things that we can learn. One, low patience. Like people have like really low patience. So if they try to like try an app once or twice and it fails to work, they might possibly try another time and then just abandon it. So people get disappointed really quick. So they would like delete an application that crashes or has like a lot of bugs, and this in turn also means lost revenue. So acquiring new customers, like you spend like about 20 times, like 20x, it's more expensive than simply retaining them. So companies don't focus enough on retaining gaming customers, but rather they are still willing to spend a lot of money in acquiring them. So but there's that one statistic right there. So if you can increase customer retention rate by 5%, it could lead to an increase in profits by between 25 to even up to 95%. So, and this is according to Harvard Business Review. So I'm not making the numbers up. So essentially, how we recognize failure and how we succeed at Backtrace is there's like a number of challenges that are posed by errors and crashes, and that's the first thing that we need to recognize. So number one being crashes or errors that happen without you knowing. So a lot of times game studios, like when they're working, like they create a game. So makers are only notified of crashes where customer frustration. So it may be someone like venting out in a forum or in an online review or somewhere, and that's when they come to know there is a problem there. So, and if there is a way to actually collect information, like they might even have like different reporting systems. So makers might use like different tools based on different platforms, and then there might be duplicate reporting on the same issue, so developers then waste time in trying to resolve like critical issues. And then there's like poor integration into the development workflow itself. So maybe this manual integration into issue tracking like Jira and notification system. This in turn like increases the time to notify and the time to resolve. So all of these actually at Backtrace, like we actually help improving gaming experience. And before I deep dive into Backtrace and what we have to offer, let me show you like the list of companies who use Backtrace. So about 17 of the top 25 gaming companies in the world, like they actually have Backtrace integrated. That includes like EA, Activision, Half-Brick, Take-Two, Amazon Game Studios, Sega. So all of them like actually use Backtrace in their games. And we do have like some other companies where we can't show the name because we have like confidentiality agreement, but these are the names that we can actually show. So Backtrace drastically reduces debugging time and improves software quality through automated capture. So you can actually capture all of that data automatically and then send it to the backend and have that analyzed by your developers, your QA testers, whoever they might be. So and it's like a complete cross-platform solution. So we are the only ones like who actually provide the solution for all platforms, including PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, as well as WebGL. So, and we do real-time reporting. So let's say somebody is playing a game, they encounter an error, so that error actually gets reported in real time to the backend, and the developers can see in real time the error that they actually got. So how Backtrace improves gaming experience. So number one being like keep your players happy. So when you use Backtrace, because you can proactively identify problems, implement quicker fixes, and deliver more seamless gameplay experiences. Secondly, you would spend less time identifying in-game problems and more time in fixing them. So when you quickly identify a bug using Backtrace crash management, you can determine the potential blast radius. We call it a blast radius, like how much it got like the error had an impact on. So and see how many other users have been impacted, and then allow the engineering team to take that prioritization and drive their fix. So basically, that's what we try to do. And then third, we look to automate time-consuming tasks that have historically been handled manually. So one of our clients, like Half-Brick, they actually used Backtrace, and they said like they were able to bring that time down, the QA time down, by half, because previously they had to like manually reproduce all of the major bugs and retrieve the logs like themselves. So with Backtrace, all of that happened like really automatically. So, and then the tickets were created automatically and all of that. So if you don't know the name Half-Brick, they are actually the makers of Fruit Ninja. So you might have definitely played that game. So they are the makers, and Backtrace is actually used in the Fruit Ninja. So and then measure your success, and then find new ways to further improve the player experience. So this is where like they actually mentioned right here, the Fruit Ninja 1 response rate, as soon as they implemented like Backtrace, it went up by 7.04%, and the Fruit Ninja 2 went up by 14%. So essentially they were able to chop down the average time to resolve from 14 down to 7. So and they're like a small team, so it's a big deal for them to save that much time. So in terms of the Backtrace, like what we do is like we compress the entire life cycle, and across all platforms. So like I said, we are the only ones in the market that do support all of the platforms, including the consoles, the Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, mobile, WebGL. And we capture the errors, report them, then allow the developers to triage, prioritize, and then assign to the engineering team, and then investigate, and then like try to fix the problem. So some of the questions that we actually help answer is like, how fast can you figure out there is a problem, and how fast can you figure out the blast radius, how fast you can get the right people involved in trying to fix the problem, and how fast can you provide the context they need. So all of that is something that we actually enable through Backtrace. So one biggest feature that we have, the benefit that we have with Backtrace is something called deduplication. So imagine like you have like a game where like you have a million errors coming up, and possibly like those all million errors, like instead of showing like individually one by one, our algorithm like groups them into a single line. So that's called duplication. So deduplication. So basically it groups all of them and shows you as one error. So then you can actually look into that error and say, hey, this got, if like this is impacted on like on a million systems, and then do something about it. So now I have a brief demo of how Backtrace works, and this is a demo like in Unity, but in reality, like we support any game engine and even native app development, so the techniques are very similar, but this is a demo for Unity, so how this gets integrated. So all of them, like they get a free tier, like then you sign up for the free tier, then you go on to copy the submission URL, and the Unity, like you copy and paste it, and that's about it pretty much. Then you get the integration done. So there's one step in between, and then the integration is done, and you see whatever errors are getting generated in Unity, all of those errors are actually being reproduced in the Backtrace backlog right here. So I'll show you all of those pages in a moment, but this is how it looks like. So the Backtrace dashboard, this is what it looks like. Now if you take a closer look right here, the numbers, the top two are 98.56, in this example 94.28. So those are the two numbers in terms of how much the percentage of error-free users on the left, and on the right it's the error-free application launches. Now you'd be most concerned when these numbers actually, let's say, drop drastically to maybe below 50 or 60%. So that's when you know that there's a lot of like a failure going on, like a lot of errors coming up, and you'd be really concerned and you have to like do something about it. But usually you want your number to be as close as possible to like upper 90s, and you want to deal with possibly only the edge cases, and that's basically what Backtrace enables you to do and try to achieve, to keep that numbers up. And in terms of the other thing that we have here, so this is a triage view. So this is where you can see the errors, its occurrences, like how many times it occurred. And if you take a closer look right here as well, you have this line right here, which is called a fingerprint. So if you see here in this example, there's this fingerprint, and there is this errors by application. So how many errors actually were captured for this particular description that is there. So maybe it's a file stream error or something like that. So basically this is where the deduplication is coming into action right here. So there's like 2,288 people experiencing the same error, but all of that is being deduplicated and being shown as one error. So if you click on that fingerprint, it will then show you a list of the like details of each error. If you want to see each person, like what system they were using, what was the system configuration, and all of that, you could, if you want to, like even look into each one of those 2288 system information. So you can also see right here that there's like the activity timeline, like how frequent it occurred, like over a period. And the description, of course, is also there. So maybe there's like tags where you can assign like a GPU error, out of memory, ANR, like whatever you want to assign, like this tags there. And then there's ticket. So you can create a Jira ticket automatically and then assign it to someone in your team. And once an issue is resolved, like, and you can even mark the status as resolved. So this is what Backtrace allows you to do. And in terms of, this is not where we stop. So we also provide like save view. So let's say you want to provide other users, like each team member that you have, like things that's only relevant to them. So you could actually provide a save view to them and assign it. Like maybe they can just use that. So whatever information is specifically relevant to them, that's the information that they will take a look at. So, and then what you have is the next thing is attributes. So with attributes, we provide you with the ability to add your own custom information and use that in the report to better understand your game. So you can report almost any variable like from the game as an attribute, and we also have like some default attributes within our SDK, so which you can use as well. So. And this is an example, like this is a screenshot of the debug view. So right here, like you have a deeper look into the errors. Once you understand what the errors look like, you want to go delve deeper into it and see like how you can actually resolve it or try to troubleshoot it. So we provide you with a call stack. So there is a call stack. We also provide you with the thread information. We can even show you like the source code and the line number. We can pinpoint which line caused the error. So we don't store the error. We don't store the source code, of course, but we make a secure call to your source code, so wherever you're storing. So we don't have access to the source code, by the way. So in addition to this, we also allow you to, you can see here, there's like that console type of output, almost like how you would see in like in game engine like Unity, like that's the exact thing that's being replicated there. So you can see the entire console like output there. So with all of the errors and bugs. So in addition to that, we also allow you to attach game files, game data, like screenshots and all of that. And the other thing that we have is breadcrumbs. So we provide this information like any gameplay related metrics. So maybe you want to know like how many levels were completed at certain points. So we can provide, you can actually provide that information. It gets sent to the dashboard. How many objects were spawned, when it was spawned, and at that point, if, for example, right here, so there's that spawning asteroid. So it tells you there the current number of asteroids, like 53. So at that point, so basically we can provide all of that information. And the other thing is the attachments. So the attachment view, like you can see all of the attachments that were attached and sent from the game. So in my experience, I find that really useful as I can attach the game data and the saved game data specifically like to capture the state when the game got actually crashed, right? So that information can be uploaded as well. So in addition to that, you can even like attach like screenshots, like at the point when you encounter the error. So what was the state? Like if you want to capture that screenshot and send it over, you can do that as well. So in this particular example right here, there's like a game data file and maybe there's a JSON file as well sent. So pretty much that's what we have as an overview. So I want to touch base on a couple of case studies like from our partners. So actually our clients. So Roblox, so they actually provide a game creation system that enables creators to build, run, deploy, socialize, and monetize their games. So it's it's a pretty popular platform. Now, when they actually partnered with Backtrace and they used Backtrace, they actually saw their growth in MAU, that is monthly average users, so 65 million to 100 million. So that's like 54% increase while using Backtrace. And essentially they were able to cut down on the time it takes to generate crash reports and also while at the same time increasing accuracy, right? So obviously they had actually a really good result from integrating Backtrace into their product. And this another example right here is like the Cryptic Studios and the Perfect World. So Cryptic Studios, basically they're a subsidiary of Perfect World. They're one of the biggest online publishers of live service games in North America and Europe. So they had a couple of challenges, which kind of like we discussed earlier on with the survey as well. So they had like poor user experience on game crash. So players had to interact with the crash upload dialog, then which could take like many seconds to generate and upload a dump. So they had to do all of that manually. And even when they did that, there was incomplete crash information. So the Cryptic like they only received a fraction of the crash reports, and often without enough information to diagnose or debug. So whatever information was being uploaded, it was not enough to actually diagnose the problem. So these things were improved by getting Backtrace in, because we were able to help them automate that crash reporting process, collecting the game data, the game dumps, and all of that. And they were able to increase like detection time. So they had like a 90% reduction in MTDD, so mean time to detect, and 50% reduction in MTTR, which is mean time to respond. So obviously these things actually mattered a lot. So especially with integration with Jira and Slack, so they created a daily workflow tool that organically spread across the team. So these are the things that they actually got benefit from. And so far we did see how Backtrace can help in detecting and resolving errors and crashes, which is the number one concern of any gamer. And that itself to an extent ensures positive gaming experience. But now I'd like to explore how positive gaming experience means positive feedback first. So we know from statistics that most developers focus on acquiring new users. However, retention and growth go hand in hand. So reviews and engagement play a big role in growth and positive gaming experience, so which thereby like leads to a positive feedback, and which then leads to more people playing your game. So a couple of slides earlier, if you recall, I showed games like with errors and crashes leading to users providing bad reviews. So now, is there a way we can turn that around? So is there a way we can reduce bad reviews and potentially even convert them into positive reviews? So that's something that we're going to take a look here. So I'm going to share a strategy on how do you fight negative reviews. And here I'd like to actually briefly touch upon our third-party partner of Backtrace, which is basically HelpShift. So let me tell you a bit about HelpShift and how it works. So in my opinion, it's like a really powerful tool to reduce the possibility of negative reviews and shift the grievances and negative reviews from the app stores and public view to your own game. So instead of fighting negative reviews and low ratings, why not give your game a powerful tool to reduce the possibility of that? So that's the way you actually get HelpShift come in. So let's say you have a really frustrated gamer with an error, with any problem that they have. So they might go onto an app store, they might go onto a Play Store, they might possibly like post a bad review over there or went out on a forum or something, right? So we with HelpShift integration, so we actually the HelpShift provides an intuitive and easy to use in-game chat system. So that way you can actually directly allow the gamer to vent frustration directly to you. So send any information, anything that they want to vent out, like any problem that they've encountered in the game, post it directly to you, and then through that feedback you can act on it. And once the issue is resolved, maybe the developer can even send a message back to all the users who are affected by the issue, notifying them that the issue got resolved. So it's a really powerful tool in fighting negative reviews, and a lot of customers actually found that it helps them in getting a positive gaming experience and making those customers who were initially frustrated to bring them on board, like make them more happy and feel positive about the entire experience. So I have an example right here. So let's say you have in a game, like you have an error, you click on that button on the help shift. So it's all done by the chat bot. So it's like all automatic. There's no in-person, like there's no live agent or anyone. So the AI is like pretty good enough to identify the issue. So when, like, let's say there's a problem, like maybe the application, like the game froze for a few seconds, or maybe more than few seconds, then they open it up, they type that they got a hang. So once you have that hang there, so what happened at that point? So they just said like just playing or something. So then all of that information is automatically collected. Backtrace collects the data, sends it over in the back end, and a ticket is created. So in the back end, what happens over there is that they can actually see all of that chat information. They can see all of the issues that are there. A ticket is also automatically created. You can see here that the ticket is created. It's a link to the Jira bug is there. Number of other users affected with the same issue, you can even see there, because that is the deduplication of our backtrace algorithm that is working. So we identify that, oh, there's the same issue being affected by like the same, like four more people like kind of reported the same issue. So all of that information is taken. The engineers try to look into it, fix it. Now, when they fix it, they can actually reply back to the customer. So they can type a message saying, thank you for bringing this into our attention. So now the issue has been resolved. So that message goes, like on the right side, you can see there that it goes directly in-app within the game. That message goes back to the to the gamer and everyone else, whoever actually encountered that issue or reported that. So that message shows there that we're sorry for any issues. This problem is now resolved. So that's the message that goes there. So the customer can even like rate that chat experience. Again, this is all automatic. And when they rate it, and after that, what happens? After that, maybe you can even reward that customer or that gamer. So you can reward that gamer by maybe giving him or her like some in-game money, or maybe a level that you want to give in like as a reward, whatever reward that you want to give. So this is basically what is moving away from negative experience to positive experience, and potentially even converting the negative would-be reviews into a positive review. So a lot of times, like our customers actually have found that those people who would have put negative reviews, they come back and they publicly post positive reviews about the product, that like they were able to resolve the problem, they were able to fix it, and then keep the customer in loop. So that converts into positive experience, and then they actually spread through word of mouth on how to actually get other people on board to play the game, or if it's an app, to use the app as well. So pretty much that's it for today. And we do have like a free tier for all those who are watching online as well. So we do have a free tier for our 25,000 errors per month. That's what we have as a free tier. If you want to try out Backtrace, that's the good way to try it out. And our engineers also actually can help you out integrating Backtrace into your product, into your project, and it's like free of cost to start off with. So that's about it for today, and thank you so much for attending this session.